Ukraine crisis. Macron says a deal to avoid war is within reach.
Here's a summary of the article.
Image source, EPA. French President Emmanuel Macron has said he thinks a deal to avoid war in Ukraine is possible, but that it is legitimate for Russia to raise its own security concerns. Russia has massed troops on Ukraine's border but denies planning to invade. Mr. Macron told the Journal du Dimanche newspaper that Russia's objective was not Ukraine, but a clarification of the rules with NATO and the EU. He said his dialogue with President Putin would likely be enough to prevent military conflict breaking out and that he believed Mr. Putin would be open to discussing wider issues. Meanwhile, the US government again warned that Russia could invade Ukraine at any time. "We are in the window. Any day now, Russia could take military action against Ukraine, or it could be a couple of weeks from now," White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told Fox News on Sunday. Two U.S. officials told Reuters that Russia had assembled about 70% of the necessary military capability needed for a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The tensions between Russia, Ukraine and the West come nearly 8 years after Russia annexed Ukraine's southern Crimea Peninsula and backed a bloody rebellion in the eastern Donbas region.
This post received a score of 25,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than the trip to Moscow and Kiev the following day is being coordinated with German and American allies, and is seen as an opportunity for Mr. Macron to be in the spotlight ahead of France's presidential election in April. I very much doubt this can be resolved with a single-day trip of Macron's to Moscow followed by a single-day trip of his to Kiev, but we'll see on February 9 when he returns, I guess.
I'm willing to believe Putin uses military grandstanding as a political tool and never intended to invade Ukraine, but fully believed the opposing side would blink, allowing him to de-escalate without being perceived as weak. Him accusing America of trying to drag him into conflict, and he wouldn't fall victim to it, made it apparent to me that he was strategically looking for an out. Edit, lol oops.
This is what Ukraine's leaders seem to believe as well. That's why they publicly told the US to relax. A lot of European leaders seem to genuinely believe that Russia is bluffing. An invasion would be met by crippling sanctions that would devastate Russia's economy, and the oligarchs really run the show and they don't want that.
But again, it's not at all pessimistic to believe Putin is willing to do what has been done twice before, like in Georgia and Crimea. He always seems to do it around the Olympics too.
I'll believe it when the troops start packing up and heading the other way. There is no way to know anything talked about will actually happen till there are changes on the ground. It is good to know he has hope though. I'll take every bit we can get.
I think the troops packing up here is important. People seem to be missing one key issue with de-escalation. Russia's already spent an egregious amount of materiel, time and money on these deployments. That's not something that comes cheap, and that's one of the most important factors of modern combat. It's nice to see hope. But Russia is in so deep that at this point I feel as though it's more about getting Russia to continue instigating and funding insurgency, rather than getting Russia to back off. There's far more at play here than just peace or war, and until the real details are public we can only speculate what's really going to happen.
Those costs are orders of magnitude less than what the cost of actually invading would be.
As others have noted, the amount of infrastructure Russia has poured into their controlled parts of Ukraine is significant for such a weak economy. The die has been cast for quite some time. I don't recall such a loud media outcry in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea. This war's been ongoing for years, and if Putin has nothing to show for it, then he's going to lose face in a significant way. I want to believe this won't come to blows, but with NATO making its stance known that they will not directly support Ukraine, I'd be willing to bet Putin will consider going all in.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.